Welcome, everyone. It's so exciting to see you. I hope you had a great week. We've had some tremendous calls already with our historic opening of Avini Health, and how exciting to be in on the ground floor. But it is growing. And I'm so excited. Everyone is sharing. Thank you guys for being on the call. We want you to be free today. This is our testimony call, and each one of you is very important to the Avini family. And I would love to have you share. We'll get as many people on, as many testimonies as we can, because this call helps people understand how these products can be used with them and the people that they care about. I'm Robben in California, and I'm excited to be with you and to be part of this company and these products. And our family has been using these products for several years, some of them are new to us, and we're getting some exciting results. I have a dear friend on the line today, Olita, and she's going to share. She and I are going to have a little conversation. I'm going to help her share. She and her husband, who has actually gone on transition to be in heaven several years ago, but oh my goodness, their testimony never gets old. I just want to be able to have her pass on this blessing to anyone that can listen and hear and have some help. So Olita, are you there with me?
I think I am.
Yes, I can hear you. Good job, girl. Well, I appreciate you being on and letting me know you're there and letting me call on you spur of the moment. So Olita, just share from your heart a little bit of how you guys got started, or when you got started, and what was happening in Charles' life at the time and yours, how you were having to stay awake at night. And I'll bring some of those things out because I know your story well, and it's so dynamic. Will you go ahead and just start sharing, and I'll just kind of come in with you?
Well, I think we first heard about the zeolite drops in about 2000, and we heard from it from a friend who has now gone on to be with the Lord, Agnes DeLashman. I don't know if anybody remembers her or not. And my husband, Charles, was diagnosed with a sugar problem whenever he was 26 years old. And he lived with that for 56 years before he went on to be with the Lord. And his sugars were up and down all the time. We never knew, and we didn't have the stuff to check with like they do this day and age. So it was a real difficult problem to keep his sugars anywhere in balance. And after he started on the zeolite drops, we had some pretty amazing results with him getting more stabilized and just a better quality of life.
Tell me how, some of the dynamic things to me are, how much insulin was he taking a day?
He was taking about 60 units a day.
Okay. And go ahead.
Some days not much, because his sugars were so low. But when he got on the zeolite drops, they pretty much stabilized, and he dropped down to somewhere within the 20-unit range.
Right there. I mean, that story could stop and be totally life-changing, life-saving, because I know that the other part of the testimony is amazing to me is you would lay awake at night. I mean, you must have been a very, you just didn't sleep that well, did you? I mean, you had to be aware of what was going on, and tell us why.
Well, yes, because when his sugars would drop down low enough to where they were in the 30 range, he would be unconscious and not able to drink any sugar water or anything like that to bring his sugars up. So I kept a sugar shot by the side of the bed. So in case he did get low enough that I couldn't get anything down him, I just gave him the shot to bring him back around till I could get something in him.
What happened when he started taking the zeolite? How long was it, do you think, if you remember, how long was it before that changed for you and you were able to sleep through the night and not worry about him anymore?
I'm not sure how long it was. It seems like it was maybe 3 to 4 months before he got to where that I felt comfortable going to sleep and letting him wake up on his own and and at least shake me to wake me up. But it was such a blessing to be able to know I could go to sleep, and that we had
That's
something going for us.
Yeah, and now I remember the other part of the testimony that actually happened right away, I believe, when he started taking the zeolite. Um, Now, my understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that when he would get cut, and he had neuropathy in his feet, so he didn't feel his feet well, and when he would get cut, then he wouldn't even know it. Sometimes he'd just come home bleeding, and that happened shortly after that. What happened before zeolite with a cut, and then what happened that time that he came home bleeding after taking the zeolite?
Well, before, if he got a cut, a lot of the times it would get infected, and they would have to doctor it and go for months and months changing bandages and putting on ointments and all kinds of things. And then he was out in the field once and got tangled in some barbed wire and got a cut. And when he came home bleeding, I just saturated him with the zeolite and kept the wound cleaned and kept the zeolite in there. And within a week, it was starting to close up.
Amazing. I mean, your guys' testimony is so amazing. And you personally had some things, didn't you, that helped you besides being able to sleep, which is a big deal. Not having to worry about Charles because his body was getting rid of the trash and balancing, and how amazing your guys' story is. Did you want to share anything about yourself?
No. It's just, I've been taking it ever since whenever I could get it. And I had a blood pressure issue, I guess you could call it, and it straightened that right out, and that was the biggest thing.
Wow. Awesome. Olita, it's just so amazing to have you continue to be excited about the drops and continue to share his testimony. How many years did and like I said, now he was an amputee, but he was quite a guy. He would still get on the four-wheeler, go out in the fields, change the irrigation pipes, all that kind of thing, right?
Right.
He's still very active. But
he was active up to the end.
Yes. Yeah. So how long did Charles get to have the zeolite in his life before he transitioned? How many years? Do you remember? Because that
16
was
years.
15 years. Okay. Would you
16
have
years.
15 years? Okay. So would you have said that you would see him have a quality of life that many years before the zeolite? I mean, it seemed like before you got the zeolite, there was definitely some crisis going on in his life. And it would seem like it was probably kind of scary not knowing whether he was going to be there the next day. Is that kind of the feeling that I got from your testimony before?
We had pretty much 40 years of an unpleasant just dealing with the issue. And that's how he lost his job, was because he had no feeling in his hands, and he burned them really bad, so they made him retire. And after we got the zeolite, we used it for burns, cuts, sore throats, eye drops, anything that was wrong. We just used the zeolite.
Yeah.
And I still use it, and I think it's wonderful.
Awesome. Oh, that is so cool. Olita, do you mind if I just open up real quick for any questions or anything that we left out?
Go right ahead.
And by the way, sorry, guys, I didn't have her share. How many drops was Charles doing? How many times a day? Do you remember in the beginning?
We started out 10 drops 6 or 7 times a day, every time we'd think about it.
Okay.
And then as he progressed and got better with his sugars, getting more in control, we dropped it down to like 4 or 5 times a day. And then in the end, we were doing it pretty much 3 to 4 times a day continually.
Awesome. Oh, good job. Thank you so much. Anybody have a quick question? I don't want to keep her on too long. I mean, we can, but is there anybody who wants to unmute and ask a quick question? Pat.
Yeah, Robin, yeah, I just wanted to make sure she had put when he had the cuts, she put the zeolite on externally, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Along with
Uh-huh.
he continued to take his
Take it
60,
internally, yeah.
yeah, his 60
Yes.
drops, and then they added it on top. Yes, in the
Awesome.
sores and under the band-aid, under bandages.
Great, thank you.
Great. Thanks, Pat. Anybody else? Any other questions for Alita? We good to go? Okay. Thank you, Alita, so much for being on. And I won't call on you every time you come on and say hi to me, okay? I promise.
Thank you very much.
But I really wanted your testimony again for all the new people that are getting involved and need to hear how life-changing and saving this is. So thank you so much for sharing.
I needed to hear it again.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just happy to do it.
Great. Thanks, Alita. Anytime you want to. All right. Wonderful.
Thanks,
Well,
Robin.
guys, not everybody has to be lined up, but I was fortunate enough to kind of be able to line a couple people up to get it going. But I asked Darren if he would share again, and then he let us know that Georgia, his wife, is on too. So both you guys, we'd love to have you guys share. So come on, whoever wants to start. Or
I was gonna let my wife go first because she's cooking dinner and it smells really good in this side of the house. I'll let her go first and then I'll go.
Sounds good. Georgia, come on, share with us. Oh, you were unmuted, Georgia. We got you muted now. Let's see.
Okay. Hi. I don't know if you can give permission for Darren to share his screen, if he has my picture handy. So long story short, about 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with a rare form of psoriasis. It's called palmoplantar pustulosis. Only about 2% of all psoriasis sufferers get this kind. And it's an inflammatory autoimmune condition. And basically I get blisters on the bottoms of my feet, and they're sterile. It's not contagious. And they hurt and they itch and the skin is angry. And I spent hundreds of dollars at the dermatologist, tried different steroid creams, biologics. I've tried every lotion, cream, salve known to man. I've tried essential oils. And so I've been on the zeolite, the Zimmunity, and the Cell Defender for a couple weeks. And then I think it was 2 weeks ago, Darren was on a Zoom and they talked about spraying the nano silver directly on the bad skin parts. So that day I started using it 3 or 4 times a day. I just spray my feet and rub it in. And so after a week, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know if Darren has my picture handy to share, but I did.
I do. I just can't share it.
Robin, can you give us permission to share?
Howard's working on that. Thanks.
Okay. And
yeah,
it's
you should be able to do it, Darren. Go ahead. Try it.
There it goes. So that's after a week.
Oh, my goodness.
And I mean, there's still a little bit of itchiness, but but that is, I think, the healing that's going on.
Wow.
But you can see that after a week, it's not as red. It's not as dry. It doesn't hurt. I actually wore real shoes to church on Sunday. I've been wearing little sneakers and flip flops and just regular slippers, for 4 years. And so let's see, tomorrow's Wednesday, so it'll be 2 weeks. So I will take more pictures tomorrow. But I've just had really good results with it. And again, that's layered with the Cell Defender and with the using this immunity as well. So I also, I can't remember who was, I think it was Lori was talking about the knots on the back of her neck. I carry all of my stress in my upper shoulders and in my neck. And I've had really good results with the Nyloxin. I'll let Darren tell his story, but it works for me too. Last week I woke up with a sinus headache, couldn't even see, took a couple squirts and within 10 minutes, my headache was gone. I still had some pressure in my face, but the blinding headache was gone. So I'm a believer. It works for me. And I have coworkers that like for 4 years, I've been like, here, look at my feet, look at my feet. And so I'm sending them these pictures and they're like, I gotta get some of that. So,
Awesome. Now tell me, I'm not sure I heard on the silver, when you said it, just use a couple sprays, were you putting it in your mouth or on your neck?
for the silver, I put it directly on my feet and rub it in.
Okay.
And then usually once a day, if Darren can make me stand still long enough, he'll spray some in my mouth.
Okay.
But primarily it's just been putting it on my feet and rubbing it in a couple times a day.
Okay. When you had your real bad headache though, what did you do?
The Nyloxin.
Oh, okay. You did the Nyloxin spray on the neck. I'm sorry. I thought
Yep.
you were using, yeah. Okay. You said
Yep.
that. Thank you. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. But I mean, I think that my experience pales compared to my husband's, and isn't that a lovely segue into his story? But I mean, his story is truly life changing, and I can't wait to see what's next. So, honey, it's your turn.
So the stress that she has on her shoulders is called Darren. The headaches that she gets is called Darren. So I have that effect. You know, what day is this? Tuesday. So I've been on the products for 2 weeks and a day. And you know, it's so funny, you know, when you go 37 and a half years with, you know, chronic pain 24/7, 365, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And then, you know, it not taking it as much because I don't feel I need to, but not having any pain for just over 2 weeks. I'm pretty ecstatic. I mean, I'll back up and tell my story because a lot of people, you know, some people know it, some people don't, but I mean, my whole thing started January 12th, 1985, when I was a victim of a bully at age 14. You know, funny, people say, well, you were a victim of a bully? And I go, I wasn't this tall back then. I was only 5'6" when it happened. And, you know, long story short, I've had 8 operations. I'm on my 3rd artificial hip. 7th operation, the artificial hip snapped in half, so they removed it. That was a week before I turned 25. And they said I was too young to, you know, have it done, a 3rd hip. And so they took the hip, and I had a severe limp for 17 and a half years. Of course, during that time, I set a world record leg press and leg pressed 1,150 pounds for 4 reps. I don't recommend that. That's pretty darn heavy. But it was 9 years ago this month that I, you know, reached out to the doctor, and he said, yeah, it's time for you to get hip. So I got my last hip. It actually, what's funny is that it straightened me out. So it actually made me taller than what I was. So I'm currently 6'10", so I grew a little bit. You know, if people knew my mom, I'd always tell people, well, she just let me sticks of Miracle Grow, and here, drink this, go stand in the sun. So I kind of stick out in the crowd. But, you know, it's, even though I got the artificial hip, the last one and stuff, and was walking, you know, better, that pain never went away. You know, people are, oh, you got your hip, you should be feeling better. Nope. That's 17 and a half years worth of, you know, that it's not just a limp. I mean, I had to kick that leg out there and stuff, because when you're only connected by skin, muscles, and tendons, there was not a joint there. You do some weird stuff with your body. So, you know, people have been trying to get me to take stuff, you know, try chiropractic care, and I love chiropractors. I'm not, you know, poo-pooing them. Massage therapy, acupuncture. I've tried literally everything to, you know, even touch the pain, get rid of it and stuff, and nothing worked. And then when Dave shared this with me, and I was like, you know, if the Nyloxin takes care of, say, half the pain, I'll be happy, you know. And so it was 2 weeks ago yesterday. We got the stuff. I took 2 sprays under my tongue, and then my wife sprayed, you know, 3 spots on my back where it's just destroyed. Sat down, watched, you know, an episode of one of our shows, and 45 minutes later, I stand up, and not standing like a caveman all hunched over and stuff. I was standing straight. Then I started walking and realized how well I was walking, and got all sorts of excited because 37 plus years of pain was gone. And I of course called Chip, and I called Dave, and this is like 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, I don't typically call people past 9, and I'm like, who can I call? Gotta call West because can't call East, they're all asleep. So I was excited, and that's just one thing. I mean, I'm using all the products, and like Georgia, when I told her that day to start spraying her feet, I had a callus on my right foot, and I sprayed it twice that Saturday, twice that Sunday. That Sunday night, the callus just peeled off, and the skin underneath was fine, healthy. And I mean, it peeled off in one piece. So it was kind of cool. It's like, look, it's a quarter. I didn't keep it, obviously. I should have, and said, show and tell, look, it came off my foot. But I mean, who knows what's next, or who knows what's going to happen? I mean, I'm talking to a lot of people that are in the fitness world and stuff, and I can't wait to see the results that they get and getting to the next level and stuff. It'll be huge. So kind of excited.
Yeah.
So just wanted to share that. So.
Wow. Incredible, Darren. And do you guys mind if we open up for questions real quick on that, just in case?
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody have a question for either Georgia or Darren on anything they shared? Anybody, if it came up?
I guess I scared them off.
You did. No, you did. You guys did a good, thorough job. I appreciate that. But we always want to make sure everybody can interact. Go ahead, Chip.
Before we leave those two, I did a call with them this morning and have talked to them quite a bit along the way as we've been going through this. And there's some important things that you can glean from that. I mean, the stories are so powerful, and it's happened so in such a timely fashion. I mean, they didn't have to be patient at all. And then it was him, and then it was her, and then the next thing you know, Neil wants them to come down for a leadership function. I kind of joke with my big buddy Darren. It's how old are you, Darren?
51.
Is 51 too late to be precocious? Yeah, it's like all of a sudden he's, everything is just coming to him so quickly and so organically. I mean, it's effortless. But the points I wanted to make, in her case, she's in touch with 1,200 other people with the same problem. They've all been searching the world over, trying to figure out, a solution for this. And she begins to work with the things that are coming in the mailbox, and it starts improving in a short time. And the thing that I think is truly remarkable, it's not just one thing that's here that's could help her. Probably the zeolite could stand alone and make that kind of a difference. In Japan, psoriasis was one of the main things that people improved from, that led to an interest in Rick's product in Japan. And then you've got silver. And what was it? She chose to spray on her foot because she heard someone say something about it with silver, and got that dramatic result. And I love the way she described it, because she said, my skin was angry. Well, I bet you all of you have seen a sky that was angry too. We always talk about being in tornadoes and the sky is angry. But that has to be a wonderful, wonderful experience for her, to not have her skin be angry at her, to have angry skin. And you could see what it would feel like, how bad that would hurt. And then when I wanted to also highlight something about what Darren brought to you. Certainly the comfort in such a short time. I talked to him when he was just getting things out of the mailbox that day, and said, let me know what happens. And, before it's even dark, he's on the phone calling me and telling me this incredible story about and I remember being around Darren when he would just for a parlor trip, pop the top of his femur out right out the side of his body, and he could set stuff on it. I mean, it literally wasn't in the ball at all. I mean, it's like, okay, this is the side of your body, and here comes the femur top of the femur sticking out right there. And he used to do that just for the response he'd get from people. He likes to get your attention a little bit. But then, hey, that's true. He has fun. He has fun with that. But the other point I wanted to make, and I think this is really important, that deal that happened with the callus. Well, you know, he could have sanded away at that maybe and come in from the top and gotten down to where it was bare, ouchy skin, but he sprayed the material, the products on the outside, and then it created a line of demarcation between the dead skin and the live skin and lifted off. And he was able to describe that so beautifully. I know, you know, it's probably a little bit startling, and you think about him, you know, oh, do I dare look any further? You know, when's this thing going to be a bloody mess under the edge of that? But think about if you were a surgeon and you were inside of somebody's body. One of them I heard was a surgeon inside of someone's head, and you're looking to get something out that shouldn't be there. And you get there and it looks like it's dead, like it's in trouble. Remember, those things are often dead on the inside and growing on the outside. They have to steal your food, steal your blood supply. That's how they function. And so if you begin to kill the outside, then you begin to create a line of demarcation, very much like what Darren described with that callus. And so, you know, I was talking to someone today who had a report back from their doctor after a surgery that we think we got it all. How's that happen? They go in and there's a clear line between the good and the bad, and they're able to go in and not have to guess how much to take. And maybe it even looks like the problem itself is in trouble, that it's dead, and you pull it off and it all begins to come off. And so you're able to go back to your patient that you're working on and say, you know, I'm pretty sure I got it all. And what a wonderful thing. Then you're just down to the battle with the microscopic form of the disease. You're afraid maybe a cell went someplace else and set up shop. And there is no better way of dealing with that than using the zeolite and the medicinal mushrooms and the silver, because it's going to track it down wherever it is. It's going to hunt, you know, seek and destroy any cell that doesn't belong there. But I wanted to highlight those two things. 1,200 people couldn't find a solution. She found 2 or 3 of them in her own mailbox. I mean, that's the kind of a company you're getting into here. Darren, yeah, on his foot, it's a long way from his heart. But if you extrapolate and think anything that shouldn't be there is going to start creating a line between it and the good stuff. And it's going to begin to fall out if it's got a place to go or be resorbed. I want to, you know, get that little bit of extra out of those 2 testimonies, please.
The way Chip describes it sounds better than me just pulling it off there.
The 2 of us together, even better than that.
2 of us together means there's some serious tallness in the room.
That's fun then, yeah. Yeah, we do have some fun together, don't we?
Yes.
All right.
Awesome.
Sounded
I don't
good
know
to
who's
me.
going
I
to be
just
next,
wanna-
but I did want to tee up if Jeanette Loudon is willing to. She and I got to do something really cool with a guy in the national parks. And if she's willing to talk about that, I'd love to have her do that on this call. So I'm going
Before
to be
you do
quiet for a
that,
little bit.
can I ask either you or Darren one quick question? The what you sprayed on your foot was not the naloxone, but it was the silver, correct?
Nano silver.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
And then
Okay.
I'd like to ask a question on the headaches. Where exactly and what did you put on your neck? Did you do on the back of your neck for your headaches?
Are you talking about for my wife?
Yes, for
I
Georgia.
sprayed the naloxone on the back of her neck where, you know, she holds stress, AKA Darren. Just a couple sprays there. I think for her headache, she just took it under her tongue.
That's right.
Oh, so for the headache, she just put it under her tongue.
Yep.
I mean,
And the back of the neck was just for Darren's stress.
Correct.
not that I stress her out all the time, but it does work.
No,
The thing is, everyone's different. I mean, you're always safe to take it internally. You're always safe to take it externally. I always say do both because, you know, just knock them both out.
Yeah, I agree with that one. All righty, thank you.
So just to reiterate, again, so everybody on the call understands, Georgia was kind of really, she's been taking the zeolite and the Zimmunity, but she added the naloxone on her neck and headache, correct? She used that for her neck soreness and her headache? was the naloxone.
Yes,
And then the feet she was using for the psoriasis, she was using the silver product.
correct. And
Okay.
every now and then when we'd pass in the hallway, I'd be like, whoa, stop, spray, spray, spray in her mouth, and then, moving.
Yeah. Perfect.
Well, I started using naloxone, and I'm amazed because
going
it's the
on?
only thing I've. Do what?
Yeah, what's going on, Mary? Tell us.
Well, I've got all this pain 24/7, and I'm tired of chasing. I want to start catching something here, okay? So I ordered the naloxone, and I've just been putting it on every place that hurts, almost. I mean, I'd have to take a bath to get every place that hurts. But it's totally amazing because it has taken away the pain.
Awesome. And you
So
have
I
had
do.
you have had pain
I
for how
haven't.
many years? How many years?
Oh Lord, long time.
Well,
Too long.
very exciting to find something brand new that's so natural that you don't have to worry about it interfering with anything you're doing. It's just going to add to, and you get to use it anywhere you want, and you're having fun with it, right? It's working.
Yes, ma'am. It's working. It's working.
I love.
So I've got a
that.
couple of. I got a couple of friends that are going to be guinea pigs. So we'll see how that goes because they have the same kind of problems I have, pain all the time. And one has headaches all the time, so I'm going to make sure she gets the spray, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. You keep us posted, Mary. That's exciting. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, Jeanette, I see you are unmuted. You and Chip, go ahead. Please share with us.
Okay. Well, I called Chip because my friend was in need, desperate need. He lives in Cannonville, Utah, and he is a promoter. He travels all over the United States, the world, promoting our national parks. So he had been kept from traveling because he had that big incident that we've had going on for 2 years now, and found out that when he was due to go again for a trip when it was opened up, he couldn't go because he still had the cells in his body. Doctors couldn't figure out why he still had them, couldn't figure out what he should do. They said, well, give it another year or so, we'll see. Well, this was his livelihood, part of it anyway, and he couldn't just continue staying home. So long story short, I said, well, why don't you, I called Chip, that's what it was. I called Chip, said, what could we do for him? Do you think that the detox could help? And he thought about it and he said, well, surely it would help, but he also advised that he should do autophagy. And that is where the cells, do they kill each other? By fasting, you kill off your cells. Is that correct, Chip?
Yeah, you essentially throw things on the fire that you don't need. And our theory was that whatever was giving him all these positive tests a year and a half later, so that he could travel, wasn't he due to take a trip?
Yes,
he was soon, and he would lose his job if he couldn't make that trip.
Well,
wasn't it that much on the line?
He was not being able to make these trips because the United States wasn't going to let him back in. They would let him abroad, but the United States wouldn't let him back in if he had a positive test. And so he just simply wasn't being able to do. He's the only person I think that does that from the United States. I could be wrong, but anyway, that's what he does. And so he had another trip coming up. He had skipped over several and because of this problem. He had another trip coming up in about 2 weeks, it was, I think. And I called Chip and said, what can we do? This can't keep going on because he might well have lost his job. So this is what Chip offered. And so I offered it to Bill and I said, well, you can do one or the other, or you can do both. And he said they were going on kind of a trip down to Arizona to see their son. And he said, well, it was Friday. He says, I can fast. Okay, so you fast. And he said, Monday, I'll start the drops. Okay, fine. So he did the drops and the fast because his wife made him do the drops as well. And no, I'm sorry. He did the drops over the weekend, and then he was going to fast after that. He had like a week and a half to go before he had to leave. So he did the drops. That was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He took a test Monday, I'm sorry, getting my days confused. Monday, and he tested not negative. So he's back in the United States now. He got to go on his trip, and he's back in the United States now.
So you're saying
the drop stood alone. The drop stood
the
alone.
drops
Then?
alone
Is that what
did
you're
it.
saying?
Yes, he did not even have to do autophagy fast.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Absolutely.
So here was a guy that had something running in the background that just kept. He didn't feel sick anymore.
No,
but he could
did not
pass a test to travel.
Yeah.
And whatever
a
it
lot
was.
of people. Yeah, a lot of people may have this problem. They just they aren't testing themselves. They had the disease or the illness, and then they're well. And so how many of them go back in and test to see if they still got positive cells in their bodies?
Think how many people would be waiting in line to take that job. What a dream job to be the international representative for all of the national parks in the United States.
Yep.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah, I see people commenting about autophagy, and there are, behaviors that you can do: clean up your diet, clean up your act, do some experiments with fasting or breathing, get exercising, use all those things together. So you use it in addition to other good behaviors instead of antidote for bad behaviors, hopefully. Use all the products and do good things too is I think the more powerful idea. Thank you so much, Jeanette, for
You're welcome.
that was a fun thing, because we just kind of brainstormed it, had a weekend to get the job done after a year and a half, and it worked. Cool.
Wow, thanks, Chip and Jeanette. That was awesome. We appreciate that. Keep us posted on that one. All right. Wow. We've got an awesome call going. Anybody else want to join in and share your testimony or ask a question? Now's your chance. Just unmute your line. And Sue, are you unmuted for a reason? Did you want to?
Yeah. Do you know if this helps? I put it in the chat with the SIBO. For my
hydrogen, sulfur, SI
has been diagnosed with this. Let me see how you say it again.
Yeah. And your internet's kind of messing up on us, so we're gonna wait.
Basically, he's on a very limited diet of like 6 things, and of course he works up on the North Slope, and so there's no real food for him.
Okay, we're barely hearing you,
Sue. He was airlifted to Anchorage because I guess your internet.
Sue, we're having trouble hearing you. If you can go ahead and keep typing more.
Yes, he was air flighted because it was affecting like his heart.
Okay.
Down to Anchorage, of course, they don't have anything on the North Slope. But do you guys know if that will help?
Okay, Chip, I don't know if you caught any of that. Can you tell by that
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
That
Could
is
you say
much
what
better.
CIBO stands for, please? Sue?
Okay.
Small intestine bacterial overgrowth, Lori says. SIBO. Okay, there you go. Okay, so yes, absolutely. In that case, certainly everything in the product line is going to be helpful. And I would think that the big two is going to be zeolite and silver. And probably the most difficult thing for that bacterial overgrowth to handle, well, it'd be hard for me to pick between those two. Both of them are going to have mechanisms to help straighten that out. And we will have a gut health product coming through Rick pretty soon. He's very interested and has created a lot of soluble and insoluble fiber products over his career, and that will be coming our way. I can say that that's going to be additional, but I would say get silver and Cell Defender zeolite to him. So nano silver, Cell Defender zeolite to him, and that should make a big difference for him, I would expect. See, it's all out of whack. The bacteria that rot things or ferment things have taken over from the ones that digest things. And so that's where you have to get that back in balance. I hope that makes some sense.
And Sue,
those two products should help a lot.
I'm going to encourage you, Sue, to get a call going with Chip, an individual call, and with your upline, the person that brought you on the call, or who your team member. Make sure you get connected with Chip and have a personal call with him, specific, more help, than we can give you on this call. I'd love for Chip to be able to really get in there and help you guys if that's possible. Will that help? And I'm sorry, we are not hearing you, Sue. I do apologize. For some reason, we're just not hearing you very well at all. So
internet connection is slow. That's why.
Yeah, your connection is slow. Just if you would, Sue, go ahead and put your information in the chat, that how Chip can get a hold of you, or who invited you on the call, who your team is, or who invited you on the call, and we'll make sure. Okay, perfect. We definitely want to make sure we get help to everybody we can, guys. And that's what we use those connection calls for. Don't hesitate to put your team members on, with one of the people that can help you. It doesn't matter who it is. They've got a testimony, they can help you. We've got people with the right heart that want to help anybody we can. Get you some more details on that, Sue, is what I was trying to say there. And okay. Somebody asked about Mary's pain, and you guys can see that in the chat. We're very careful not to make medical claims, so I'm not going to say what it is, but it's a fibro, something like that. It starts with that. And it is an autoimmune situation. So you guys got that one right. So just so everyone knows, we are very careful to, we want to protect our business, our company, and make sure we do not make medical claims. So we do try to describe them. If you have any problem with figuring out what we're talking about, just ask the person that invited you on the call after the call, and they'll explain that to you. Because again, we don't need to make medical claims. We have natural products that help the body balance itself, and in amazing scientific ways. We just want to get that message across to you. So everything that these products can do, we don't know yet. Maybe you will be one that will bring us something new that it does for your body. But boy, these testimonies so far have been unbelievable. So, okay, where are we doing on time? We got time for another. Yes.
Hey, Robin.
Gail had her hand up.
Yeah, Gail had her hand up, and then I got a direct message from Kay Lance that she has a testimony as well.
Awesome. Okay, who had their hand up? Go for it. Kay, go for it.
It's me, Robin. It's Gail.
Oh, Gail. I'm sorry, Gail. Go ahead, Gail.
I just got a quick question for probably Chip. My dog has ripped his toenail, and I put the silver on it, but can I put the naloxone on it as well for pain? Because he's hopping on 3 feet because that toenail is hurting so bad.
Well, there's no product here that you can't put anywhere, pretty much. And you can experiment and see what helps him. I'm sure that's pretty miserable to have a toenail. That's what you do to torture somebody. And I will say one thing, Darren's story has happened in such a short time, and all these products, the biggest results come with consistent use over a long period of time. Even the nyloxone is designed to build up over a week or 10-day period before it gets to its highest level of function. And so certainly a story like Darren's comes along and it becomes our instant favorite, because it was, literally from the mailbox to the house, almost to the telephone. And that was about the whole time that expired. But you can certainly, keep that from getting infected. You can probably make it feel better, probably make it so that his next toenail that grows in is stronger, that sort of a thing. There's a question for Darren about how frequently you use the nyloxone each day. I see just flashed across the screen, Darren.
Maybe twice a day now. I was doing like 3 or 4 times, and then having Georgia spray it topically, but it's been a couple days since I've had it sprayed topically, and I think I took it this morning and I kind of forgot about it. I will probably take it here in a little bit. Thanks for the reminder.
Have you had any return of the discomfort at all? So,
No,
so you have built it up in the background now, and it's, it's a bit more persistent. It's not like it only lasts for a very short time. You're wanting to just kind of keep the level up to where it's functional for you is the concept.
Normally going to church and sitting and stuff like that is I mean, it's not torturous to go to church, but it's torturous to sit in those chairs. And they're still not comfortable. The chairs aren't, but it didn't even come close to how it used to be, being sore and standing up like a caveman. Of course I got home and, but it's nowhere close to what it used to be.
That's awesome. I mean, it's so happy to hear that. And, I'm sure, Dave is the guy who told you about Avini. And I always tell people your first paycheck is going to be something like that. Something where you reach out to one of your buddies. He's been in a pickle for 37 years. Products come and he calls in and says what Darren's been saying. I mean, it's that's first paycheck you get, is that, emotional, psychological, your friend got better paycheck. And for a lot of people, that's what we're after. That's really what we're after, is to be able to be useful in other people's lives like that.
And the nyloxone can be used internally, correct, guys?
As long as it's a spray, I wouldn't try the gel or anything like that. So, because the spray is actually for the internal use, but when we were new, we didn't know exactly. So we sprayed it under my tongue, and then I just had to spray my back. So it worked both ways. The gel and the roll-on ball, you probably don't want to go,
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. And James and Marilyn are old-time users of nyloxone. He's going, no, you don't want to put that in your mouth. But the spray, yes. Okay. All right. We had another testimony there. Who was that, Darren? Oh, Kay.
Kay Lance.
Okay. I'm sorry. That's where I got your name. I'm sorry. Go for it, Kay. Oh, you're muted, Kay. You're still muted.
There we go. I know you're short on time, but I just wanted to say that yesterday I had pretty major oral surgery. And, like they had to break off a crown, pull the tooth, take the roots, put a bone graft, put a post in there and cap it and whatever. And so that was pretty sore, I just immediately started using the silver and the zeolite. And today it's almost like I had nothing.
Wow. So you weren't even using the nyloxone. You were using the zeolite and the silver. And what would you do with those? Did you just drop the zeolite in right on the area?
I did. And then of course with the silver, I kept it in there a while. And so I tried to focus it on that area, but I did it just every time I thought about it. So
awesome.
It's great.
Awesome. Thank you, Kay. That's awesome. That's so fun about our products is they overlay, they cross over. And I was going to say, Gail, on the puppy dog too, I would definitely be putting the zeolite on several times. In fact, if you can get, I know it's kind of hard to put a Band-Aid on and they just chew them off, but every time I thought of it, I would be putting the zeolite on also. The zeolite, it's amazing how zeolite can take away pain also, or help with the pain issue also.
Right.
So,
Okay. Thank you.
you bet. Okay, Kay, was that, you got it? You're doing good then. After one day, this is the next day. I mean, you had dental work yesterday
Yesterday.
and you're talking really well.
I mean, just almost like normal. And you know,
That's-
they should be really, really swollen and everything. And it's tender to the touch, but it's not that swollen.
Wow. Amazing. Wow. And we are out of time today, guys. Wow. That was an incredible call. Thank you everyone who shared or asked a question. Thank you each one for being here and participating. You know, it means a lot for everybody to be here. Even if you didn't share today, please, you know, if you have a testimony, be here next week. Let us know. You can text or email Chip or I or Howard, and we'll make sure we get you on there, or get on early. Make sure I know that you're ready. We don't want to leave anybody out, but sometimes we get going and just have a blast and we don't get to get everybody in. But we're going to go ahead and someone asked about the calls, and let's see, our Hank and Kathleen are usually my
I
really
actually told that person to reach
you-
out to their upline so that they can
Perfect.
send them a copy.
perfect, because we do get these calls out, copies. Also, Dave Johnson puts them on his site. The best Zeolite info, is that what it is, Darren? Best Zeolite info, right? Am I saying
Best
that right?
Dealite info, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's got the YouTube channel, so it's out there
Right.
too.
Okay, good. And so we'll make sure you get copies of this. And Hank and Kathleen are so good about getting the copies of the calls for Dr. Samuelson. And just, yeah, ask your team member, how do I get all these recorded calls? So